Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And frankly, it actually pains me to see what is supposed to be in a functioning democracy, a government in complete and utter collapse today. And Mr. Speaker, it's no secret that many in this House have lost confidence in the government. In fact, Canadians have lost confidence in this government. The only ones that seem to have not lost confidence in this government is their NDP coalition partners, and the leader of the NDP holding off in order to get his pension is probably one of the most contemptible things that I have seen in this country in a long, long time. Mr. Speaker, I want the honourable member's comments on the fact that we need an election now. We need to return to some sense of normalcy, some sense of decency, and some sense of morality in this country that a common sense Conservative government can do.
The honourable member for Brantford-Brant.
If I didn't make this emphasis known in my intervention, Mr. Speaker, I certainly want to emphasize it in my response to my colleague's question. This is the final nail in the proverbial coffin of the leadership of this Prime Minister and this government. They have lost all moral and legal authority to govern. And my colleague is absolutely correct. This is what I'm hearing day in, day out from constituents in my riding, as well as constituents across this country who follow me on social media. They are not concerned as to whether or not the leader of our party is getting a security clearance. They want an election now.
Right.
That's what everyone is talking about. It is time to restore the promise that this country once offered, that this Prime Minister and his government has destroyed. And the leader of the NDP party needs to show a backbone and put the Canadian interests first, as well as his caucus, put the needs of Canadians first, not for his own selfish reasons.
The honourable member for Toronto St. Paul's.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say happy holidays first to the people of Toronto St. Paul's, and also give a shout out to my father who got out of the hospital this weekend, and wish him a speedy recovery. I've been in this place for 3 months today, Mr. Speaker, but that doesn't mean I'm 3 months old. I've been watching this government heading towards a crash like this for the better part of a year. And it's surprising that it took this long to happen. And if I look at the Minister of Finance's letter, and she says, we must keep our fiscal powder dry. That is to accommodate for an unknown shock that may or may not have come in future. And this gives some flexibility to the government to react. So my question for the member is, the SDTC slush fund, which used up lots of taxpayer dollars, is that endemic of a government that was headed for a crash anyways, and the finance minister is only now admitting to that?
The honourable member for Brantford-Brant.
I thank my colleague for that excellent question. And as I articulated in my intervention, this government has demonstrated the complete opposite of what they promised Canadians. The Prime Minister wrote an open letter to Canadians shortly after his election in 2015, promised to be a good economic steward of the taxpayer funds, promised Canadians they would be open by default, transparent, accountable. Take a look at what has happened since 2015. It would take me probably another 2 minutes to outline all the numerous scandals, Mr. Speaker, the amount of government waste, the amount of misspent, misused, misappropriated, defrauded taxpayer funds, which I estimate to be well north of $1 billion. That is not exercising the public good, and it's not appropriate, and that is why we need a carbon tax election now.
If the honourable member can get a question in 10 seconds, I'll be happy to give the floor to him. The honourable member from St. Albert, Edmonton.
Mr. Speaker, can the member comment on the fact that Canadians are being held hostage by an erratic Prime Minister and the leader of the NDP that is putting his $2.3 million pension ahead of country?
Well, member from Brantford Brant has a very brief response.
I can't disagree with that. It's selfish economic interests, personal interests over the needs of Canadians.